Honey, did you leave the wine out?
Oh, I know. I really don't want my wife to find out about this. It just seems a little weird. Oh, you. The first thing that I did is I found the appropriate piece. I have this wide piece of white oak, so I marked it to length. It had a pretty rough edge on one side, so I had to cut it. And then I cut it to rough length and passed it through my planer. I really wish I could plane something that fast. Then I cut it to final width and final length. Then I decided to work on the inlay. This is padauk. It's a very, very red wood. I really like how this looks. I measured it out and cut one piece. Then I had to flip it over and cut the other so they're the same size. I use a piece of wood here to hold everything down while I establish the half lap. This is me cutting in the shoulders and then the other piece. Again, just cutting the shoulders. And then I nibbled away the center, taking one pass at a time. Until it was completely cut out. I did the same with the other side as well. I just want to show you what it looks like between oxidized wood and not. Look how nice that looks. Now that all the pieces are sanded, I need to glue the pieces together. I use the famous finger spreader to pass that glue around. Made sure to get all the sides and stuff as well. Get in the corners, at least to the best of my ability. You don't need a whole lot of wood, especially when you have a really nice tight fit. Just like that. Flipped it over, made sure that there weren't any drastic gaps, which there wasn't, and then just used one clamp to hold it together. Let it dry. I marked it onto the piece of white oak that I had and drilled the corners and intersecting pieces out with a drill bit. That way I can go back with my jigsaw and cut the pieces out, staying inside the line. Here's the jigsaw. I put one thumb on the guide there to help make sure that it moves nice and straight. I'm plenty far away from the blade and it's on the back side, so it's pretty safe. And just finishing it up. I chiseled around each side with a nice sharp chisel, and then I wanted to put a pretty hefty chamfer on this, so I went around the entire thing with my chamfer bit. Went around the whole thing there. And after I was done, I discovered something
This could be a cool pattern later.
I lowered the bit down just too much. I should have raised that up a little bit. I sharpened the corners with a chisel. Make sure to move that chisel towards your fingers like I'm doing. So if you slip, you put a nice chunk in your finger, which I've done a couple of times. It's not very pleasant. Anyway, nice sharp corners. I also followed up with some sanding to get it nice and smooth. And to remove all the dust, I used mineral spirits. Probably should have worn a glove here, but oh well. Just moisturize your hands later, you'll be fine. This is the padauk with the finish, and it just brings out that gorgeous red color. It's just beautiful. This is sanded to 220 grit, and it is just breathtaking to see in person. For the board, I'm using Rubio Monocoat in cotton white. This is the very first time I've ever used this. I used a front of one of my binders, my notebooks here, to spread that around. You just kind of have to get it roughly in the right place, and then go back. I use a Scotch-Brite towel. It's got a little bit of an abrasive with it to help spread it around. It helps a little bit and helps smooth out the finish. Then I let it set for about 10 or 15 minutes and buffed it up. And followed it up with a microfiber cloth to just make sure that everything was nice and clean and I didn't have any fingerprints or anything on it. And let it dry.
Let me show you how satisfying this is.
Thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to place a comment below. Don't procrastinate, innovate. Catch you on the next one.